Welcome back to the Britannia Coin Company. We're a coin dealer based in Royal Wootton Bassett in the UK. Now there's been a revelation recently regarding the Coronation coins of King Charles III, along with a couple of other coins recently announced, so let's get straight into it. From the start of this year, all new coins produced will feature the portrait of King Charles III, having been our king since the death of our late Queen Elizabeth II on the 8th of September 2022. On the 6th of May 2023, the coronation of King Charles III will happen, the first coronation that many of us will be witness to. This historic event is going to be marked with some special coins, so what do we know about them so far? There has been a royal proclamation, one of the first public statements about the design of coins prior to their actual release. There will be a 50 pence coin, which will be struck in copper nickel, the same metal as the 50p's that are in our change. There will also be a silver-proof version and a silver piaford too. A piaford coin is the same as a standard silver-proof coin, but it's double the thickness, which gives you a bit more silver in the coin. There is also to be a gold-proof version of this 50p too. We don't yet know how many of each variant will be struck, although usually the brilliant uncirculated or the BU copper nickel versions have an unlimited run and are minted to demand. Usually silver and gold proof coins have a preset limit, although for the memorial coins released after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, much of this range had an unlimited mintage, even some of the precious metal coins, to allow for more people to be able to purchase that significant coin. So perhaps we'll find out closer to the time. What about the design then? Well, the reverse or tail side of the coin is described as our royal cipher set against a depiction of a section of the exterior of Westminster Abbey. This makes sense given that the coronation will take place at Westminster Abbey. What is rather intriguing is that this is one of the designs listed, and the proclamation goes on to describe an alternative, but the description is exactly the same. Perhaps just an error on the proclamation, duplicating information, or maybe there will be another variant of the design, with a change so subtle it's not worth changing the description, or perhaps there'll be a version with colour. We saw two versions of the Platinum Jubilee 50p back in 2022. Both featured the same reverse, the number 70, with the Queen's cipher within the 0. There was though two different obverses, one which was circulated with the Queen's fifth and final portrait as designed by Jodie Clark, and another which was the work of John Bergdahl showing the Queen on horseback. Again though, time will tell whether there is actually anything more to read into this, or whether we are just simply overthinking things a bit. The other coin we learned about is a £5 coronation coin. Again, this will be released in gold-proof, silver-proof, silver piaford and copper nickel too, with yet to be specified mintage limits. The design for this coin is described as a depiction of the St Edward's crown, accompanied by the sovereign sceptre with dove and the sovereign sceptre with cross, with the inscription "The Coronation of King Charles III, 6th of May 2023. The coin will also have a plain edge and incuse letters with the inscription "God Save Our Gracious King," except for the copper nickel coin, which will have a grained edge. The St Edward's crown, or as it's sometimes called the Coronation crown, has been a part of the coronation of our monarchs since the 13th century, and it's the centerpiece of the crown jewels and deemed a holy relic. Over the last 70 years, it's only left the Tower of London 3 times, once for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, a second time to mark the 60th anniversary of the Queen's coronation, and in December of last year to be resized ready for the coronation of King Charles III. The dove and sceptre mentioned in the design are also integral parts of the coronation ceremony. Whether these designs are all we will see, or whether it's just the start of an expanded coronation set, we won't know till closer to the time, and we await with bated breath to see. What is yet to be announced is an event that it seems will be held at the Royal Mint Experience in Llantrisant, South Wales. The Saturday and Sunday of the coronation weekend are unavailable to book to go and do a tour and strike your own coin, but they are going to be open. In the past, this has happened for special strike on the day events, most recently on February the 6th, 2022, where for that one day the Platinum Jubilee 50p was able to be struck by visitors with the alternative obverse designed by John Bergdahl. Although there's been no confirmation yet, it's widely assumed that an event is due to take place, this time striking a Coronation coin on the weekend. But as with many things, again we're going to have to wait and see. There's been a long history of coins minted for coronations though, typically a specimen set, which is similar to what we see in proof coin sets nowadays. This set, for example, was minted for the coronation of King George VI, and it contains coins which were to be introduced to circulation that year. This set was produced in limited numbers and struck to a higher quality than those that went into circulation, making it a beautiful piece of history to own. This crown was again designed specifically to celebrate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. The reverse features a design which you might recognise. It has 4 quarterings of the shield of the royal arms, with the national flowers of the constituent parts of the UK between them. The same design was minted onto the Memorial 50p last year after the death of our Queen. It was scaled down to fit onto a 50p coin, and the year, of course, either side of the leek at the bottom of the design was changed as well. It's rather poetic to mark the end of the reign of our late Queen with the same design which was commissioned for the start of her record-breaking reign. The obverse features the Queen on horseback with her royal cipher to either side. This design would go on to inspire the major Jubilee coin designs throughout her reign, with each depicting the Queen on horseback. These weren't the only coins we found some information out through the Royal Proclamations though. The King Arthur £5 coin was released very recently, and already the next 2 coins in the Myths and Legends series has been announced. The next coin will be the 5th coin in the collection, but only the 2nd to be released as a BU and proof coin. The first 3 in this set were just bullion offerings from the Royal Mint. The next coin is set to be Merlin, and the description is not particularly helpful in trying to imagine the coin, simply stating that it will be a depiction of Merlin with the inscription Merlin, Myths and Legends. Now, the legendary wizard has been a character in many myths prior to being linked with King Arthur, with later stories portraying him as an advisor and mentor to the king. The coin which will be released following Merlin will be Morgan Le Fay, sometimes referred to as Morgana. And again, she is the subject of many tales, but later stories have described her as the sister of King Arthur. An enchantress who can shapeshift, this will make another lovely addition to the collection. And unfortunately, it's a similar story with the Merlin coin in terms of not giving much away in the Royal Proclamation as to the design. There is due to be releases in BU Cooper Nickel as a £5 coin, 3 different ounce weights in silver proof, and 2 weights in gold proof as well, for both of these coins. We can also assume that there'll probably be a bullion offering on these 2 coins as well. Onto the Sovereign next, because some rather interesting news is about the 2023 Sovereign. Now, it might not feel like all that long ago we had a Sovereign released, as at the end of 2022 the Queen Elizabeth II Memorial Sovereign was minted, the first of this historic denomination to feature the new portrait of King Charles III. The latest proclamation describes the coin as being a depiction of St. George, armed, sitting on horseback, attacking a dragon with a sword and a broken spear upon the ground, and the date of the year. This does aptly describe the design which has been used on the sovereign since 1817, designed by Benedetto Prestrucci, but this doesn't mean it's a certain. Back in 2005, Timothy Node created a modern interpretation of the image of George and the Dragon. Although there is no spear in sight in this design, it is one example of how a simple description may not result in the image we're all expecting. In fact, in 2012 as well, we see Paul Day's interpretation of George and the Dragon. There have only been a handful of uniquely designed sovereigns, and they tend to be minted in years of significance. And if you ask me, the Coronation is one of those events that would probably deserve a special sovereign. A great example of how the wording in the Royal Proclamation should be taken with a pinch of salt is that the 2 sovereigns which we saw released in 2022. The first was issued to mark the Platinum Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II, and the later release to mark her death. In both instances, the description in the Royal Proclamation was identical for the reverse designs, but we ended up with 2 very different coins by 2 different artists. So we'll have to wait and see what the Royal Mint reveals, although if it's to be another unique design, it will be our third consecutive one minted, so that might start taking away from some of the special uniqueness of design changes and will make quite the gap between the last and next Pastrucci sovereign design. So there we go, some juicy insights as to the coins we might be seeing very soon. Let me know in the comments which of these you're most excited to come out. Be sure to keep an eye on our website. When these coins are released, we'll have our own product offering available to purchase. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. It's free to do and it means you won't miss out on any of our future uploads. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where we post lots of pictures of our coins. We're on Twitter and TikTok. We have our shop and online store, and I'll see you next time for more amazing coins from the Britannia Coin Company.